It is time to make the sound to summon the stream. Wow, 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 wow. There we go. We needed to really turn that down. Holy crap. Sorry about that. Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Quill Quickcard, and welcome back to the Community RPG Maker Project. Why, Coles, are you not showing up on my live chat here? Hold on. This should be working. Hold on, just trying to troubleshoot this real quick. God damn it, it's doing that thing again where it's trying to simultaneously broadcast on both of the streams that I had scheduled for today. Okay, I'm getting rid of the Ogre Battle one, so it should only be streaming here. It absolutely hates it when you have streams scheduled simultaneously. Here we go. This is not the first time I've run into this problem, so luckily I know how to recognize it and how to fix it. There we go. Can someone in chat, if you can still hear me, please drop a yes in chat, just so I can confirm that functionality. And okay. That's great. Phone is decided it wants to be a bit of a jerk. That's fine. I can open a private window and confirm functionality that way. Just to make absolutely sure. Yep, okay. Good. The proper stream is live. Chat is functioning fine. Alright. Excellent. Okay. So, greetings, dear viewers. I'm Quill Quickcard, and welcome back to the Community RPG Maker Project. For more than a year, I have been building a game in RPG Maker MZ while trying to use as many ideas and suggestions from viewers as possible. And as a result, we have created an absolute abomination of a game. If you are interested in contributing to this project, I welcome anyone who wants to. All you have to do, you can catch the live streams every Sunday morning, and you can chat there. You can leave comments on any of the VODs in the series. All those comments feed to one place. I see all of them. Or you can check the link down in the description. You will find a link to the channel Discord and discuss the project there. Good morning, Coles. It's been a couple weeks since we had a good exchange. Won't believe who I helped out last night with their research. No, I probably won't. Today, we are going to be working on a big boss fight and the introduction for it. Let's take a look at today's agenda. We want to make a scene where we introduce the root beer gods. We want to build the phase 2 of the root beer gods fight. And we also want to make some alternate dialogue for the various characters in the Catfolk and Batfolk villages and the Pepsi headquarters, just so they have some alternate dialogue after we finish out this scene. I've already drafted up a set of dialogue that we are going to be using for the introduction scene. But before we do that, I want to start storyboarding some of the Phase 2 stuff. Just looking at the various abilities of our root beer gods, Sasp and Arilla here. I know one thing I want to start with is I want to have Arilla open Phase 2 with her telepathic whispers ability. And just so the telepathic whispers is always going out first, along with the mind control, we want to add a big boost to speed when using mind control or telepathic whispers, just so that they consistently go first. There we go. So a first turn telepathic whispers, since most people are going to be trying to disrupt or trying to buff themselves or debuff the enemy on their first turn. So this is going to completely negate that. Helped out Leonard Crass, the Dewabble effect, a guy with the sheer biggest technical knowledge in Pokemon scene of the ROM hacking, and also a great competitive player. That is awesome. That sounds really cool. I'm glad that you got an opportunity to help out folks that you are I'm glad you got to help out folks that you have such an affinity and appreciation for. Alright, so telepathic whispers, turn 1. At the same time, I think a shield would be good. So telepathic whispers, shield, and this is going to be a shield on Arilla. We're going to zoom that out a little bit. So this is going to be the turn 1 opener. Telepathic whispers and shield. Then on turn 2, we are going to turn Sasp intangible. So he's going to be invisible for a little bit. We're testing move check orders and freeze interactions. That sounds awesome. Let's see. I think on their phase 2, we're also going to want to resist immunity to slowing. Just so we can keep their moves coordinated. So we turn Sasp intangible, and he will do something else. There's an enemy up here. I think we're going to have to use a transform when we do Sasp intangible. Otherwise, it can be kind of a pain. So we'll mark that with a trans. Good morning, Auntie. Welcome to the stream. So Sasp goes intangible. Sasp should also... let's do a smoke blow. So that'll be their turn 2. In order to counter that, let's do 3x Soda Bolt. I think that will be fine. So this intangible will last for 3 turns. So each turn it is active, we should have a regular and then an alternate move for Sass to be using if he remains intangible. So on turn 3, it's going to be Soda Bolts regardless. On the 4th turn, we'll do the Root Storm. And then Soda Bolt if they are intangible. If they are not intangible, Cold Soda Bolt. I think that works. On turn 5, Mind Control, Bolt or Body Slam. And then turn 6, the intangible will fall off at the end of this turn. When I was younger, I thought Scald's Bird Chance came from it being very pressurized. That's not an assumption I ever made, but I can see where you would have been coming from with that. So at this point, we're going to do the Soda Buff Empower, which adds double action. And then Sass will just attack on that turn. I think we will tie all of their abilities into troop events rather than relying on their action pattern settings. Yeah, not knowing what Scald meant. That makes sense. Okay. So on turn 7... Turn 7 is where Arilla is going to heal. And Sass will use the Cold Soda Bolt. And then one more turn before the cycle resets. So let's go for Mind Control again. And Soda Spray. And then it will repeat these actions. I think this works for a basic boss pattern. It's going to take some working to make some of this stuff work. And I think I need an alternate sprite for Sass that just looks invisible, which I should be able to do. Enemies, side view enemies, you're on SF boss. We'll just load that up into GIMP. My good old GNU image manipulation program, because I do not have Photoshop. Okay, here we go. So, I think the best way to do this is to just select all the visual parts. Then let's shrink the entire thing by 6 pixels. Okay. Yes, I think that works. And now... boom. There's our invisible sprite. And we just save that as an alternate. There we go. And now we have an invisible version of Sass. I use Sprite and Krita to edit these kind of pictures. I have not messed around with Sprite or Krita enough to have a great deal of confidence in edits. I mostly just do very, very, very basic adjustments. Okay. So next thing, we are going to need new versions of Sass and Arilla. And we want to make sure that they are immune to all... Actually, no, they don't need that because all their actions are going to be determined by another thing. Okay, that's fine. In phase 2, we're going to drop them both down to 16,000. We'll just use that as a starting point. Here is SASP 2. 16,000. You have no actions. There we go. There we go. I just want to make sure we line him up just right. Screw it. Trying to line them up just right is a pain in the ass. Alright, that will be Root Beer Gods 3. So now we have our 3 forms. We've got a battle order for phase 2, which is good. Alright, let's actually work on the Root Beer Gods introduction scene. I think this looks like a good spot for it. Make sure it doesn't activate multiple times. Copy our first line of dialogue. And this is for the black cat. This one. There we go. Line up the dialogue with the window space. All I wanted was to live a life of peace, but I was driven from Wallachia. I was ignored by the people of this land. I struggled and suffered to survive. Never again. And at that point, the cat turns down. Second line of dialogue. This may actually be a shorter stream today, but we are basically going to get through just everything, which is really nice. Okay. I'm shooting for about 2 hours, especially since I'm going to be streaming again later on today, 4 p.m. my time. I'm going to be doing my grand finale for Ogre Battle 64. Yeah, To abandon my path now would risk more than my life. I would be giving up my soul, all that I am, all I could be, all that is to come after. I can't do that. I won't do that. Okay, good. Next line. You have arrived too late to stop me. They come to claim you now. Okay. And cat turns up. There is a battle animation. And centered on... I have no idea which one this centerpiece is. Okay, that's RGB activation. Neither Sasp nor Arilla should have a physical appearance at first. I'm actually feeling in good form today. I'm feeling strong and effective and fast. My mind is clear. Okay. So an RGB activation. This is probably good enough. Okay. So at that point, we change the location of Sass to be here facing down. And we change the location of Arilla, same place facing down. We have another animation on the RGB activation that we do not wait for. We use one of our power-up animations. Seems to take about 60 frames for the actual light-up effect to occur. And at that point, Sasp appears. We need our MV. Oh, yeah, this is him right there. I was literally already on it. And he is going to move left and turn down. Without a wait. And Arilla, same thing. Let's see. Here is our goddess. And this one we wait for. Okay. Let's give it a test. No, I guess this one is closest. Okay. We will drop another debug save inside of the Pepsi realm. Yeah. Just go through all this. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Yep. Hurry up, hurry up. Okay, after the teleport, we need to turn followers back on. Which we probably should do before, let's see, before we end up dropping our save. Okay. Player followers on. There we go. All right, now let's advance the debug save. There we go. We need more volume for when I'm actually doing the testing. Good. It's a lot more audible now. All of this event scripting looks like it worked out pretty well. After I drop this debug save, I'm going to get up for a second just to grab some water. Okay, we are back here. We've got the team. Thatcher is out of the party. That's good. We're going to drop that in slot 3. And yes, time to grab my water. Alright. I am back. Now let's actually continue with the testing. Because I want to see... Okay. So we want to have the camera pan forward. Scroll the map up slowly by 5. And then when Sasp and Arilla appear, the RGB activation changes to having no image. That should look a little bit more natural and impressive. Okay, that actually looks really good. Let's scroll it by 1 more. And then we will have dialogue windows for these scenes appear at the top. That should be scrolled up enough that it is not going to cut off the appearance. Okay. 1 extra scroll up. Perfect. And then we can start making our dialogues. So Sasp shows up. No, this will be Arilla. Another offering, little one. Do you know meteor hammers? No, I do not. Okay. Another offering, little one. You are using that one. A paltry token to earn favor or reprieve. And Arilla comments, it seems they have brought a dragon. And Sasp says, perhaps not so paltry a token after all, but it will still not absolve your debt. And then the cat speaks. Masters, they seek to stop your plans. They would deny you your feast. And then Sasp says, well, we certainly can't have that. And Arilla says, indeed, I shall wipe away this annoyance. I think the Arilla fight works to happen first. I think it's a little bit easier of the two. Okay, so now we need boss fight adjustment. Where was the last time I actually had, like, a proper boss fight? That would be all the way back in the island base, wouldn't it? Okay. We're gonna have to go way back here. Um... Yeah, because this is like a whole thing. What the hell are these battle variables? I genuinely have no idea. Huh. What are those? Variables 98 to 100. Okay, that's the Hydra stuff. So I've actually got a few things that I need to do with a few different boss fights. Because if Steam Bomb Disable is on, so boss fight troops are supposed to have... Yeah, the boss fight switch... Steam Bomb Disable... Where the hell is my Steam Bomb disabling thing? Which switch is that? Seriously, which switch is that? That is switch number 25. Okay. So when we start this battle, we turn on switch 25. And we're going to have to take this and actually retroactively apply it to a lot of bosses that I did not apply it to. And I think that actually includes everything back, including the false Hydra. Which is actually insane. which event on this map is actually running this whole thing? Hello, Aubrey. Welcome to the stream. Normally I put auto-activating things into the corners, which is what I did here. Okay, after all that is done, we turn off the steam bomb disable. Hydra layer 6. Which does a whole bunch of stuff. Steam bomb disable. Okay, so I'm going to have to check every single Act 3 boss that we have built. Which is kind of insane that I completely forgot about this. Okay. So, steam bomb disable on, steam bomb disable off. Mountain was the first fight. There were no boss fights here. Splitting cave is fine. Docks is its own thing. Yep, we are definitely fighting God today. Alright, so that gives the hidden box this fight. So this whole time, you have been able to instantly end all these fights by using steam bombs against, like, the bosses. I am glad that this has been prevented. We've got so many mechanics in this game now, it's hard to keep track of them all. So the Quartos fight. Yes, we also have to do this here because he still technically has access to all of your items. Bottling. Oh my god. No. It's okay. It's okay. I don't necessarily have to add this to the mimics. Do mimics disappear after you beat them? Yes, they do. Okay, so it's fine if you run from mimics. That's not an issue. Corpse processing is fine. Chemical dump. Yes, okay. So before the gauntlet, we want to disable the steam bombs. After the gauntlet, we want to turn steam bombs back on. And finally, we move back up to the root beer gods, where we're just going to leave them off the whole time. And this leads to our first fight. Actually against root beer gods 2, because 2 is the one with Arilla. Okay. So we will add a thing here. Indeed, I shall wipe away this annoyance. Arilla moves down. New dialogue. You are much stronger than you appear. And then Sasp gets his turn to talk. He says, "Oh, do allow me to assess them." It has been so long since last I was challenged. And at that point, Sass moves down. And we have fight against Root Beer Gods 1. And then 60 frames after that. And at the same time they move, Cat's going to move up a couple spots and turn down. Okay. And then he talks again. I admit I am impressed. Not many would still be standing after such a battle. And Arilla says, "Our apologies, little interlopers. We have failed to demonstrate consideration befitting ones of your ability. I had assumed you were mere chaff. We shall correct that error." Okay. We shall correct that error. Okay. Time to take things seriously. You shall be crushed by Sasp, the god of root beer. And Arilla will say, "You will bend or break beneath the authority of Arilla, goddess of root beer." Okay. Okay, and we'll have a window in the middle of the screen, just very obvious. Sasp and Arilla each pull out. Should I dry age mashed potatoes? I have no idea. Pull out a small red metal cylinder. Is that the spelling of cylinder? Yes. With a quick movement, they each pull a small tab at the top. There is I need like a hissing sound. Let's pull a small tab at the top. I need a sound effect. Honestly, it's just going to be easier to find a sound effect of this. Sound effect. A can of soda. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I like this second one. Okay, so I have it in MP3 form. And then I'm going to need an audio converter. One of the mini tools that I run. Because I'm going to need to put this into OGG format. Because we need to run an OGG and an MP3 in order to make this work. Convert, download. Perfect. That's right. I am so secure in my computer and my wholesomeness that I can show my downloads without worrying about showing something inappropriate. That is what you call confidence. Okay. So we're just going to call this Soda Pop and Soda Pop. Copy both of those, paste them into my sound effects folder. Audio, sound effects, paste. All right, and now we should have the sound effects available to use. All right, how loud does that come through? Very loud. Let's try it at 50%. Okay. They each pull a small tab at the top. Sasp and Arilla each chug down their respective soda cans and chug down their respective drinks and toss the empty can respective drinks. Here we go. We can just make this one line. Chuck down their respective drinks. Okay. We'll copy these lines. Put them here. And after the sound effect, but before we do this, he's going to say, bottoms up. They see my search history, they'll be found in a soup can. Yeah. We've all got things that are private. Bottoms up, they chug them. And we'll have Arilla give one more line before the final fight. Now then. Shall we begin? No. Shall we continue? Okay. And this is where we're going to have the battle processing with Root Beer Gods 3. against both of them. And we will play an animation on both Sasp and Arilla for powering up. Actually, maybe dark would work better for this. Yeah. Can it play 2 simultaneous animations? Well, we're going to find out. Time to test all that. All right, let's take a look at the event. All I wanted was to live a life of peace, but I was driven from Wallachia. I was ignored by the people of this land. I struggled and suffered to survive, never again. To abandon my path now would risk more than my life. It would be giving up my soul. All that I am, all I could be, all that is to come after. I can't do that. I won't do that. You have arrived too late to stop me. They come to claim me now. Another offering, little one. Okay, so we can put brief wait after gods spawn before talking. Clear your history regularly if you don't want anyone to see it. I carefully curate what I leave around. Good morning, me switch. Welcome to the stream. Another offering, little one. A paltry token to earn favor or reprieve. It seems they have brought a dragon. Perhaps not so paltry a token after all, but it will still not absolve your debt. Masters, they seek to stop your plans. They would deny you your feast. Well, we certainly can't have that. Indeed, I shall wipe away this annoyance. Okay, she's not moving. Why is she not moving? Indeed, I shall wipe away this annoyance. Because Saori isn't able to move. That's where it got stuck. Okay. Perfect. We can also add our brief wait. Yeah, I think 1 second is fine. Okay. They pulled it out. We will clarify in case it's not obvious that they have drank Coke. Together with this Coke running through our veins, we are invincible. Now then, shall we continue? Okay. So... We need to give the party a full heal. So we'll have Malter comment. So we will have Malter say, well now, that just ain't fair. If you're gonna juice up, then so are we. And this is also going to be... No, this one we'll put at the bottom. And then in the middle, it will say... Malter shared some of his secret stash with the party. You are fully healed. Okay. So we have a little animation on the player. There we go. And a recover all on the entire party. And then they say, now then, shall we continue? All right. So that was another thing that we really needed, was to make sure that the party got healed before they fought together. All right, let's continue. So this is going to be the full Phase 1 and Phase 2 test. We are doing legitimate fights, and we are going to see if we can get through them. We're going to see if they're balanced. Another offering, little one? Yeah, we've seen all this. Blah, 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 blah. I shall wipe away this annoyance. Okay, cat moves up. Remove weight on Saori's movement. Okay. Let's do this. Growth shot. There's the root beer roots. Ryu. Huh. On the debug save, I've never gotten in the Storm Dragon form. That's interesting. Katasby. Go for Vine Storm. They are vulnerable to Vine Storm. Let's try Lucky Slash. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, Malter. I think you can get exposed. Or maybe not. I don't remember. If you could be stunned, though, I might be able to stun lock you with Wing Buffet, which is not a thing that you should be able to do. Bird Blind, though, has extra damage on a flying creature. We'll stick with our Lucky Slashes. Honestly, we might as well go for the enrichment so we can get extra rewards. There's Telepathic Whispers. And then they buff themselves, but we can get rid of the buff with Solar Scour. Malter gets their attack. Alright, Heavy Metal Bashes. Lucky Slash still has, like, the best chance of hitting super hard. Yeah, Orilla is definitely the easier of the two fights. Oh, there's more beer roots. I think we stopped regenerating, so we need another growth shot. Good. Oh, that was the most unlucky hit I've ever seen. Damn. Okay, more telepathic whispers. Alright, they buffed again. We don't want them to have that buff. Oh my god. With a reduced chance to hit, Heavy Metal Bash is significantly worse. There we go. Okay, we need to review Orilla's stun resistance. She got stunned by Root Storm? But I don't know why Wing Buffet is consistently failing to stun her. Okay. Pepsi Monster. We need our stamina back. Okay. Good. This is a hell of a boss. I like it. But still make sure we get that stamina off. I want to make sure I go into the next fight pretty well prepared. Yep, you got confused. That's fine. That's expected. Bottles of Pepsi. Damn, this is rough. But I'm pretty close. We gotta drop this guy. Drop her, we gotta kill her. No, Elena, your luck is bad today. Oh, God, the double soda bowl. Yeah, that hurt. Okay. Screw it, double claw. Oh man, being drunk sucks. Okay. There we go. Okay, Arilla is down. That was phase 1. That was actually really intense. Make drunk last less. Drunk was a very strong effect. You are much stronger than you appear. Oh, do allow me to assess them. It has been so long since last I was challenged. Okay, here is Sass. Malter actually gets to go first, so we can drop a growth shot. Holy hell, that hurt. Alright, let's try Vine Storm. Yeah, he got stunned too. Alright, well, Dragon Shift for protection from physical damage. Attacking your unfrequent teammate happens very frequently. You should probably create an item to prevent confusion, but lets the player... That's actually a really good idea. Okay. Add a treasure to the Pepsi factory that prevents confusion or control. That is a great accessory idea. Thank you. Okay, so this guy is weak to elemental damage. Well, just basically anything that's magic. Let's prepare a shot of liquor. Tongue Taker is extra strong on humanoids, but this guy has very high defense. Let's try a liquor shot. Sasp is drunk. Is being beaten by a guy twice using a strategy rarely seen once, and the other time with one of the most common strats, and getting salty is a good reason to ban someone. I think anyone who bans people in a competitive environment, unless they are breaking the rules, is just being a salty little bitch about it. If you're going to play competitively, you are going to lose. You are going to lose frequently. The best players in the world, in almost every field, are going to consistently lose probably well over 40% of the time. And in things that are actually very competitive, like video games, and particularly, you know, something like Pokemon or card games, where at the highest levels the advantages are so slim, you're probably going to be losing close to 50% of the time. If you're not a person who can handle losing 50% of the time, you have no business being in a competitive environment. That's my opinion. Alright, so this was actually not doing all that much damage. Let's increase your chance to hit. Mrs. Hope, I wanna laugh. I don't know what you're referring to. Alright, Heavy Metal Bash is still perfectly strong. Yeah, I think Vine Storm is running a different stunning effect. Okay, let's go for Lucky Slash. Okay, shield is up. Bash still gets through that and breaks the shield. We might be able to trigger the bleeding effect. No, I didn't get bleeding there. Can we inflict them with a weak poison? Nope, that didn't work either. We're still gonna need more growth shots. Also, in one, they played Pokemon Wave before me. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyone who is not capable of handling losing half the time has no business playing things competitively. That will always be my opinion. Okay, what do we got? Yes, we need more growth shot. Everybody needs to regenerate. Our regeneration effects are very powerful. Like, you have to know what you're doing to get past this part in the game. But it's definitely doable. Do I have anything that heals more? No, I really don't have anything that heals more than 500. Okay, let's just go for the double claws. This guy is being a real pain in the ass. I think it might be in my best interest to do this a little differently. This guy may just need to have less HP. Yeah, his defenses are so high. Okay. Make Sass weaker to expose. I think exposing him is a legit strategy that should be used more frequently. Okay, Ryu can't really do anything here. We need Katasby or Malter to break the field. Heavy Metal Bash ignores defense. That hurts, but that's fine. In terms of gambling, unless the gambling broker is utterly and profoundly incompetent, the house will always hold a numerical advantage. There's actually places where you can go in Las Vegas where you will see signs proudly declaring, like for slot machines, like a 97% return. The idea being that if you sat there all day feeding money into it, you would end up winning 97% of what you put into the machine back. And they kind of advertise this as like a real positive, like, oh, hey, you should try these machines. These are good machines. They will, you'll get a lot back. You won't lose all that money. The thing is that people really don't understand how slim the actual margins are when it comes to gambling brokers. No, 97, not 79. But yeah, some people will look at that and they'll be like, okay, I'm fine with a 3% net loss on average. What people don't realize is that almost all gambling brokers are operating at an over 95% return rate. In general, 95% of the money that people are spending in a casino setting is going to be paid back out to the customers. That's actually a very normal rate. If you get anything lower than that, you can actually be easily violating law and regulation. Casinos operate at a surprisingly slim margin, even very legitimate ones. That's what makes it so insane. And that is why you actually do have to be competent in order to run a casino and to have it be successful. Because you actually do have to be very careful how you manage that margin. But managing that margin is a thing everybody in the industry knows to do. They've been figuring out how to do this effectively and consistently for decades. It is an absolute science. And anyone who ignores that absolute science is being willfully incompetent. And all of the like the gambling machines out there are all very, very carefully designed to fall within a certain payout range. And it is illegal to keep a machine in operation that is running outside of those regulated areas. They are tested. They are carefully observed. But let me be clear that despite all of that information I'm aware of, gambling is fucking stupid. And quite frankly, should be a lot more illegal than it is. Especially the way that we're now seeing things like Polymarket and Kalshi, these so-called trading platforms. No, you're fucking gambling. You should be outlawed. You're pathetic and exploitative and ridiculous, and it's an absolute travesty that you existed. Anyway, this boss definitely needs to have his HP reduced. So we're going to have SAS HP reduced to 16,000 and 12,000 in Phase 2. Just because these Phase 1 fights are going way longer than they should be. Honestly, I can make that change to both of them. That's fine. The first test was always going to be kind of a crapshoot. Okay, that's good. Sasp is beatable. I admit I am impressed. Not many would still be standing after such a battle. Our apologies, little interlopers. We have failed to demonstrate consideration befitting ones of your ability. I had assumed you were mere chaff. We shall correct the error. Time to take things seriously. You shall be crushed by Sasp, the god of Rootbeer, who will bend or break beneath the authority of Arilla, goddess of Rootbeer. Sasp and Arilla each pull out a small red metal cylinder. With a quick movement, they each pull a small tab at the top. Bottoms up. Sasp and Arilla chug down their respective drinks. You can play multiple animations at once. Good to know. Together with this coke running through our veins, we are invincible. Well, no, that just ain't fair. If you're gonna juice up, then so are we. Malta shared some of his secret stash with the party. You are fully healed. Now then, shall we continue? And then we go into Phase 3. Yes, and everybody is fully healed. And we need to change the animation for recovery. Okay. I'm going to have to run to the restroom real quick. I'm just going to put this music on. See you in a minute. Having to fix up a couple things real quick. It may be as much as a 15-minute break, but I'll be back. Okay, I am back. I'm sorry for that wait. Some chores simply cannot be avoided, unfortunately. Alright. Let's get back into this. What am I doing? Right, I'm making the doing these adjustments. Okay, so first things first. Vine Storm applies Vine Storm and Vine Storm Slow. So it's the Vine Storm stun that is preventing... Alright, so we don't have the Vine Storm stun applied. There we go. Now Vine Storm can't stun them anymore. That's important. Okay. Next thing, Sass needs to not have resistance to expose. Wait, he doesn't have resistance to expose. Oh, okay then. Alright, the stun resistance thing is taken care of. Sass weaker to expose, that's taken care of. Reduce the HP. Okay, that is fine. So this version of Sass has maximum defenses. Okay, how do I do this? The best way to handle this Sass is just to apply debuff immunity to him. And we're going to give him an evasion rate and a magic evasion rate. There we go. Okay. So we'll have to make a note. Apply debuff immunity. When intange falls off, remove debuff immunity. We also need our new state for the Empower 2X. We already built that. Oh, we're getting raided by Shinny. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm Quill Quickcard, and this is RPG Maker MZ. This is a community project I've been working on for more than a year, and I try to integrate as many ideas and suggestions from viewers as possible. If you are interested in contributing to the project, you can catch the streams every Sunday morning, or you can leave comments on any of the VODs in the series, or you can check the link in the description for joining the channel Discord and discuss the project there. I am currently working on a fight with the root beer gods, Sasp and Arilla, and it has been a very interesting time. Drunk effect. Yes, we want to make drunk last less time. We adjusted their HP for phase 2. Did we adjust their HP for phase 2? I nearly adjusted their HP for Phase 2. There we go. Okay. HP adjusted for Phase 2. Then a little bit of event work. Let's use a different one. I think a light pillar works better. So that is the animation changed. We also need to remove a wait command here. Okay. And then check my accessories. We have a clear head charm that prevents control and confusion. So we will add a chest. We'll just put it in this room. I will be nice to the player. Or I could put it here in the chemical dump. I don't have any other treasures here in the chemical dump. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Chemical dump. We will put the treasure right here. And specifically, it gives you a clear head charm. So we can get that immunity on someone. And just to be nice, before Thatcher leaves the party, let's see. Because I think this will unequip it. So, Thatcher accessory to none. If Thatcher has a clear head charm equipped. Just so we can make sure that they get the clear head charm. So if Thatcher has a clear head charm, if Thatcher has a clear head charm, we will remove the charm, and then we will add a switch. Thatcher had charm. So we can put that back when Thatcher rejoins the party. The clear head charm accessory has been unequipped from Thatcher. Okay, just so we can make it very clear what's going on. Honestly, that's fine. We really don't need a switch to track it and fix it, as long as we are letting the player know that it happened. Okay. So, for some reason, Thatcher has a clear head charm on. It will take it off of them, just so you're guaranteed to have access to one of them, assuming that you opened that chest. So, all of those notes are now done. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. Alright, now let's actually start scripting this. So, once per turn on turn 1, it'll be turn 1 and then turn... Yeah, turn 1 plus 8. Turn 1 plus 8. So in that turn, it's Telepathic Whispers and Shield. So we give an order. Well, first... if Sasp is dead, then we do a specific thing. If Arilla is dead, we do a specific thing. But if they are not dead, then Sasp will cast Shield. Yeah, Cast will use Shield. These moves are literally the same thing. So this will be Shield Other. Scope is 1 ally. So-and-so... has conjured a barrier. Okay. What is the difference between shield and boss shield? That is a good goddamn question. Okay, boss shield does not fall off. That's the difference. Okay. So this will apply boss shield. So if Sasp is not dead, Sasp will use Boss Shield Other, targeting I mean, ideally I would want them to always target Arilla. How do the targeting indexes even work in this game? I have never been clear about that. Event commands, battle. Battle animation, force action, function. Refer to remarks for more information. Targets of the skill can be set to last target, a randomly selected target, or index X, or index can be 1 through 8. Refer to remarks for more information. Okay, so how does that work? Index 1. That does not help me. RPG Maker, MZ, Force, Action, Index. What does that mean? Okay, so it does apply to troop positions. Got it. That's what I always assumed it was. So Index 2 should always target her. And then Arilla uses telepathic whispers. Let's give it a test. Do you mean target rate? No. This is specifically the targeting index options for forced actions. Boom! Okay, that hit Arilla. We're going to test this 5 times, and if I'm right about this, we should see Arilla targeted by the shield 5 times in a row. I will consider that an effective indication that this is working exactly the way I wanted. Because otherwise, if it's wrong, so far the chances of that happening would have been, let's see, 1 in 2, 1 in 4, 1 in 8. That would be 1 in 16 for it to have happened randomly. And that would be 1 in 32. I think we can assume that it worked exactly the way I wanted. So that should happen every 9 turns. Okay. So if Sasp is dead, he does nothing. Sasp will use his Smoke Blow at a random target. And he will do this after Arilla acts first. We really don't need this to apply anything. Everything we are doing here is done by just the animation. So this will be intangible. That is fine. With that animation, Arilla turns Sasp intangible. So we can make it very clear what's going there. And we need a temporary intangible state. And this one is going to fall off after 3 turns. And we will call it temporary intangible. And from the way that I have this built, this Sasp has to be able to be affected by the intangible remove effect. Yes, makes things. This actually needs to be a certain hit. The same way that I think Precise Strike is. Yes. Okay. So Arilla uses intangible on index 1, which is Sasp. But also only does this if Sasp is not dead. So if Arilla is alive and Sasp is alive, she uses Intangible on Sasp. And then we transform Sasp into Intangible Sasp. And we apply to Sasp the state of debuff immunity. Where is debuff immunity? Permanent debuff immunity. Permanent debuff immunity does not prevent the intangible remove state, which is correct. Okay. And then Sasp uses Smoke Blow. We'll worry about the alternate conditions when they start dying later. So let's give this a look, make sure it functions. Okay. Yes. So first turn, we all lose our first turn. Sasp turns intangible. So Katasby can do a precise strike to break a really cheap. And Elena should be able to break... should be able to hit Sasp at least. Okay. So that hits Sasp. Okay. So at the end of every turn, once per turn, if Sasp is under the effect of the intangible remove, then we transform Sasp back into their non-intangible form, and we remove from Sasp the debuff immunity effect. Okay. That should function. We might be a bit too fast here. Let's make sure this works. We should probably say is becoming more solid. Okay. So that is an adjustment we can make here. Cuts through the void, intangible remove. Is becoming more solid. In this phase, if we reduce their agility, does it reduce the rate of turns, or is that something hard tied to the battle timer? Okay. All right. That is turn 2. That is the action they take on turn 2. Okay, on turn 3, they both use soda bolts. So Sasp uses regular soda bolt. Okay, if Arilla's not dead, she uses double soda bolt. Did I never make regular soda bolt? Huh. No, I didn't. Okay. Well, 1x soda bolt. So Sass uses 1x soda bolt. Okay. So that takes care of turns 1, 2, and 3. So on turn 4 plus 8, we will have Sass act first. If Sass is alive, then it will check if Sass is under permanent debuff immunity. If he is under permanent debuff immunity, then he is still intangible. So under that circumstance, he is going to use Soda Bolt. If he is not, then he is tangible, and he is going to fire Cold Soda Bolt instead. We're actually going to have Arilla go first. And Arilla is going to use Root Storm. Okay. This is supposed to be an Arilla action, not a Sasp action. Okay, so that is turn 4. Then we go to turn 5, which is Mind Control, Bolt, and Body Slam. Okay. So here we actually will have Sasp go first. So if Sasp is intangible, he uses Soda Bolt. If he is not intangible, he goes for Body Slam. And then Arilla uses Mind Control on a random target. Excellent. Okay. Next, we have turn 6. So Arilla will go first again. And this time, again, we have to make sure that Sasp is not dead. So if Sasp is dead, doesn't do anything. If Sasp is not dead, then Arilla will use the... I didn't actually make the skill for the 2x Soda Bolt. Or Soda Buff. Okay. So this is going to be Soda Buff 2x. And we will say so-and-so empowers Sass. Found out why I really banned because I voice myself when I see something unusual or weird for me. Do you think I have a mean or condescending tone? Not in my personal experience. At least I haven't really ever had that opinion. Okay, so in turn 6, you're using Soda Buff 2x on Sass. And then Sasp is doing regular attacks regardless. So Sasp attacks. Yeah, they get double attacks because they're under double actions. Okay, so the double action thing only happens... I don't think it'll double those. I think the action times only works when they are choosing their own commands, if I had to guess. I can easily check it on a state, though. So on turn 7, on turn 7, it's heal and cold soda. So we don't need this condition here. And we will have Arilla act after. We'll put a healing move there. Sass will do the cold soda bolt at random. Okay, I need a healing move. When was the last time I just had, like, a healing move? Okay. It's special. It's all allies. It's index. Casts healing magic. Just like that. And it's going to be an HP recover. It can vary by 25%. And 2,000. 2,000 with a 25%. That means it could go from 1,750 to 2,250. No, that's kind of mean. We'll set it to 1,200. Okay. So this is Arilla Heal. So Sasp does the Cold Soda Bolt. Arilla does the heal. And then turn 8 is Mind Control and Soda Spray. So we get Soda Spray, and then we get Arilla using Mind Control. Okay. Let's give this a look. What we are really looking for is if, after being buffed, Sasp does 2 Cold Soda Bolts on turn 7. That's what we're looking for. This is an absolutely crazy fight. Okay. Let's start with Precise Strike on Arilla. Malter, Heavy Metal Bash on Arilla. You miss. Okay. Okay. Sasp, you need to come back. Here's the beer roots. I actually need my debug command to unlock everything here. Which is code 100. Okay. Oh my god, I cannot hit you. That was a very unlucky slash. Okay, the important turn is coming up here. That was supposed to hit Sass, not you. Okay, well, let's see if she does double healing. She does not. Okay. soda buff index 1? Oh, because soda buff is set to... Okay, that'll fix that. So you empower SAS. You guys need to be, like, way slower. There is so much coming at us in the course of this battle. Okay. So Sasp gets the double attacks. So if Sasp is still alive, then we check if Sasp has the Empower ×2. If he does, he uses 2 Cold Soda Bolts, otherwise he uses 1. And then on turn 8... if SAS has the Empower ×2, if he doesn't, he'll use Soda Spray. If he does, he'll use Soda Spray twice. That seems really goddamn mean. Okay. So if Sasp still has double actions by the time it circles around again. If he doesn't, he just shields Orilla. But if he does, he will shield Orilla and he will shield himself. And then once that is all done, then we will remove the state of Empower ×2 from the entire enemy party. So he only gets to have it for those 3 turns. Okay. So let's go through the entire cycle. And we want to see if after the double Soda Spray turn, it circles back around to shielding. Because if it does, then we have our full boss cycle. Okay. So I'm basically just going to be guarding through this whole thing, just to make sure it functions. Okay, that's turn 1. That's turn 2. This is turn 3. Sasp is using 2x bolt. Single bolt was not changed. It's still targeting 2. That's my mistake. Okay. Let's prepare our growth shots. I've already lost count of what turn it is. Okay, we need to adjust Mantis Shrimp damage and give it intangible remove. Oh, yeah. Okay. Also, intangible is not going... Like, it'll fall off on its own, but it won't actually make him tangible. Okay. Okay, Sasp is at 2x. Sasp takes 2 actions. Okay, he should fire 2 cold soda bolts, which he does. Then comes the heal. Okay, we need to make intangible fall off. Okay, here's Soda Spray. It's not particularly powerful, but he will do it twice if he is still empowered. Okay, we should circle around. We should go to the shield turn now. Let's make sure. Boom! Okay, and if he's still empowered, he gets double shields. Okay, and then his Empower wears off. Perfect. Okay, that is exactly what I want. I do want to take this null animation state. Sasp is no longer... empowered. And then it literally just ends at the turn. That's fine. So this is Sasp removal. That's fine. Okay. So at the end of this, it will apply the state to let you know that the Empower is wearing off. And then it removes the Empower effect. Good. So this is the turn you become intangible. And then you're intangible here. You are intangible here. If you are still intangible after this soda bolt, then it applies the intangible remove to Sass, so he becomes visible again. Okay. So, make intangible fall off. Yes, that's important. The single soda bolt was not targeting one soda bolt. That has been fixed. And then Mantis Shrimp. Mantis Shrimp is supposed to be Pepsi damage. Right, okay. So this SASP still needs their gravity and Pepsi protection. Okay, good. That is fine. And we are also going to have it apply the intangible remove effect. So Mantis Shrimp is fine. Okay. So we now have the first section of Phase 2 fight done. And this is the section where both of the bosses are alive. I will have to adjust the orders for what happens for as the bosses die. But let's do a proper test. I want to make sure that we can play through this fight and actually kill one of those two. Alright, let's hurry it up. And I'm just going to insta-kill the bosses so we can get to the important phase. I do not have the clear head charm on anybody. That's fine. We have to make sure the fight is possible without it. Next. Okay, here we go. Phase 2, this is the stress test. This is to make sure it's possible to kill one of the gods in Phase 2. Okay, here we go. First things first, growth shot. Second thing, we want to shift. Let's go red. Then we'll shift back to green for the protection. Katasby, let's go with Bird Blind on Arilla. We are going to change the order of SASP and Arilla. Update indexes. It confuses me every time how the first one on the list is SASP, while SASP is standing on the right side of the field. Okay, let's try Lucky Slash. Arilla is the squishier one. Alright, SASP is intangible. Let's try to get that guy back up. Now that that's been done, we can focus on Heavy Metal Bash against Orilla. With Double Claws and Heavy Metal Bashes, this should not be bad. Like, the difficult part is trying to stabilize this fight from the beginning. I might actually have to make them faster. Orilla should be pretty close to dead. Yeah, okay. So we absolutely need that to be faster. Okay. So we're going to put that up to 130 on each of them. Okay. And we are going to make sure that Orilla is in slot number 1 and that Sasp is in slot number 2. And now I have to adjust all of the indexes. Well, not all the indexes. Force. Oh, no, I'm gonna have to change every single one of these. Because even the forced actions are, oh, boy. Yeah, I'm going to have to adjust every single thing here. That's going to be a little bit annoying. But it'll be fine. At least it's going to be very consistent. If Orilla is affected by if a Sasp is dead, then don't do anything. Otherwise, no, this is the one I already adjusted. Family got really addicted to Freeway Coke, huh? Yeah. You target Sasp to turn into Sasp, and then you add Sasp the debuff immunity, and then if Sasp is not dead, then Sasp uses Smoke Blow. Okay. So we're basically just changing every Sasp and every Orilla into the other one. But it's worth it. We're already on the fourth turn in the sequence, so it's all fine. There is nothing to worry about here. And if I do make a mistake, we'll find it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That takes care of turn 5, moving on to turn 6. If Sasp is not dead, then Arilla casts Soda Buff 2 on Index 2. If Sasp is alive, then Sasp does 2 attacks. Do we have any other index issues? I don't think we have any other indexing issues. Okay. That's all fine. Turn number 7. Sasp. 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 If Arilla is alive, Arilla uses her heal. Turn 8. Sasp. 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 And Arilla. And Arilla. If Sasp is affected by the intangible remove, then we transform Sasp back into Sasp and remove the permanent debuff immunity. Okay. So that has all been adjusted. So we've got the Root Beer Gods Phase 2. First consideration is done. We did the Root Beer Gods introduction scene. Notes. I'm not ending right now. I still want to get this done. This is nice and easy. But for next stream, do the commands for when one of the Root Beer Gods is dead. So we will call it design the battle actions for when one of the Root Beer Gods is dead. Okay. Let's see if we can't do some of this post-God dialogue before we end for today. Please, for the love of God, tell me I did something intelligent here. Yes, okay. I did end up labeling which characters are actually villagers, so I can adjust their dialogue. Because all the roof tiles are events. Okay. Cancel. God damn it. Oh, right. I labeled them all. I made them all yellow. I anticipated that I would have to do this later, and I made all the NPCs in interiors yellow so that I could easily find and adjust them. That's right. Okay. So then we need a scene for when gods are dead is on. Okay. So you are fine and done. You need one for gods are dead. And your new dialogue will be business isn't doing so well now that things are more peaceful. Okay. Next one. You don't need any additional dialogue changes. You are fine. Okay. So your dialogue will be... There is still work to be done to mend the rifts between the people of the jungle and swamp. We'll just say of the jungle. Okay. And boop, you're done. Next. Okay. So if the gods are dead, your dialogue will be... I don't know. What the hell do you say? You have brought peace back to this land. We are in your debt. Okay, that's fine. And then, are there any other... Yeah, there's 2 more folks that are just running around out here. Okay. And you were going to say... It's good to see you again. They'll just be very friendly. Okay. This is the guy... This is the guy that you can talk to about dunce flowers. So next stream, dunce flower guy we'll be able to like trade for cool stuff from the dunce flower guy, since we're getting dunce flowers off of every mimic. So we're just going to make a big comment here. Dunce flower trading. So this is going to be dunce flower batfolk. Okay. That takes care of all the NPCs in the Batfolk village. Let's head to the cats. You sell the crafting stuff. Okay. Now that things are more peaceful, I can go explore the jungle again. Sure. Who else is hanging around outside? You are. We raise axolotls in these pools. They are delicious. They are delicious. Sorry, but no. You know what? Would you like one? You can get an axolotl. I don't know what the axolotls do, but you can get one. I don't believe I ever put I did put axolotls into the game. Okay. So you can get an axolotl. What the hell is the axolotl? Okay. Would you like one? Okay, he will say, enjoy. We will have a conditional check. If the party has an axolotl in their party, then he won't offer you an axolotl. Otherwise, he just comments that they raise them like normal. Do you like one? I'd be happy to offer one up to our heroes. Yes, no. Okay. Come back anytime if you want an axolotl. Okay. So we can give you one axolotl, I guess. Is that something you can get from the fishing event? Yes, you can get axolotls. Okay, so someone here will, like, trade you something for an axolotl, I guess. This guy is just the innkeeper. He doesn't need any additional dialogue. You need new dialogue. We're going to say axolotl trade guy. This will be the axolotl trade guy. Axolotl trade guy. And we'll make a comment here to come back to this on next stream. Assuming I've been spelling that correctly. Yes. Perfect. Okay. So we have the axolotl trade guy, the dunce flower trade guy. Both of those open up here. Okay. Even the chickens seem more at peace. Seem more relaxed now. What's shittings? I don't know. Oh, nope. Here we go. Okay, next event. We can give this merchant a little bit of a friendlier attitude. Look, I'm grateful. I really am. But I still can't offer discounts. Sorry. Okay. That's another catfolk done. Okay, so the Arena Master is going to be its own whole thing that you'll get access to after you clear the jungle. So, brainstorm arena system. That'll be a whole thing we'll have to build. We can sort of work on that as we move into Act 4. Or, no, Act 4. Okay, that is the witch. She's fine. We don't need to make any adjustments there. Isn't the arena a place to refight every boss? Yes, that is the idea that we have had. And this... Okay, we need to copy... When the gods are dead... Okay. And you will say, we owe you much for saving these islands. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, that is legitimately all that I have energy for today. Yesterday was an insane time. I am so tired. I need to go take a break. I need to rest. I mean, I'm literally coming back in a few hours to finish Ogre Battle, so yeah, I need a break. 5 hours from now, I will be back. We're going to have the grand finale for Ogre Battle 64. That's going to be great. On the next stream, we need to do the Pepsi HQ Post Gods dialogue. Yeah, I think we're good. I think I'll not worry too much about my head's real foggy right now. I'm gonna go lay down for a while. Thank you all so much for being here. I will see you all next week when we continue on this project. It is time to make the sound to summon the end of the stream. Wow, 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 wow.